There's someone at the bar is being very boisterous, so I'm going to try to post this one with sound. So I can hear the music. I don't know if you will. If you're watching this and the sound suddenly cuts out and the screen goes black for a moment, it's because the mic is picking up the music in the background. I'm going to play, at least air this once with sound. If it's too much of the screen going black, I will repost this without sound. But I personally would like these videos to be with sound, so that way you get a idea of the atmosphere that I have when I'm working. Because like right now I'm actually like paying attention to the environment around me. Normally I don't. Normally it's all like white noise to me. There's been numerous times where I'll be working and I'll be like really into it. And when I start working, there'll be like maybe about 10, 12 people in the bar, and I'll get so into what I'm doing, I'll lift my head up, and now all of a sudden there's like 30, 35 people in the bar, and all of a sudden that's when I become aware of the fact that it's much louder in the bar. But I don't notice it because I'm so tuned in. In fact, during the Super Bowl, I went to a Super Bowl party and got so tuned into, I don't know whether it was a commercial or the game itself. Somebody was hollering out my name and I didn't even hear them because I was so tuned into what I was doing with like laser focus. So and as you can see, the way I'm doing this is I'm trying to do the dots. I'm like lightly touching the paper, trying to keep the dots spaced apart, but then as I go back, I tighten up the dots. And you can see how a few dots, but as I go back, I put more pressure, dots are closer together, so as a result, you get that light to dark feeling. So and that's the reason why I like working at the bars, because I can focus. Everything just turns into white noise, whereas like if you're at home, A, you're surrounded by all your stuff. 2, you control the environment, which means you can, if you want to play music, you're controlling the music. And next thing you know, you start paying attention to the music and not to your work. Or if you put on a TV show, you're obviously going to put on something that you like. So that ends up being a distraction. So I prefer working here because I do not get to control the TV. And as a result, I can really focus on what I'm doing. And like I said, people talking, especially during the football season, they have the games piped through the speaker system. It all becomes white noise. I mean, even like if it's a Steelers playing, lots of times I will look up at the TV while the game's going on, or if the crowd in the bar gets really rowdy. But if it's not a Steelers game and people are being rowdy watching whatever game it is, a lot of times I tune it all out. So I'm not going to do this hair here. Now it's just a matter of going in and putting in the darks. This is a dead man that they found in the cabin. So as you can see, a situation like this, when I work and I'm doing the pencils, either two things happen. I will do full tone, so that way I know where the light and dark is, where my light source is. Or what I'll do is I'll just do an outline, like a breakdown, and then from there go in and put in all the tone. So for like right here, because this whole area here is going to be darker than say over here, I'm going to hit the whole ear with tone. So I'm doing this by taking the nib, now that it's almost out of ink, flipping it upside down, and now I'm going in and putting in like almost like a manually putting in a Zipatone screen over this guy's side of his face. But it's not going to be a Zipatone screen because I'm doing the dots, so I'm creating that tone. And give me a moment here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is a good example of, see, I can't, let's see, here, this is like the darkest area, but I don't want to be jet black. So what I'll do is I'll put a tone, underline of dots, then I'll go with a thick quill pen and put heavy dots in. So that way this is like the one of the darkest area. Then using the 102 like this, I'll go in and put in the darks around here because I want this area to be dark too. So I'll put in, and so this dark is almost going to be as dark as here. His legs aren't together, so there's a space. So that's why I have layering of dots here, which then, as you can see, extends out to where the light source is coming in, which is the guy walking in the door or bursting in the door. So this area here, okay, I'm going in with dots, but I'm spacing them out and creating, so it goes from like light with a few darks to, light with a few dots, and as you get closer to him, the dots increase. Okay, so you can see this. Okay, and then we look at, it'll be easy up here just to have the dots being as dark as the body. But instead, the dark area of the frame, it's going to be darker than this area here. A lot of times I start off with a layer of dots upside down to create a screen, and then I'll go in with dots on top of it, so that way it gets a darker tone. And then with this one here, I'm going to have darker top. I'm going to have a lot more dots over here because it's darker in the shadow, but as you get closer, it's going to get lighter. And then this area here is going to be light. And then when I get to here, I'll have dots here, but by the time I get to here, there'll be almost no dots. So when you erase it, you'll get a sense of this is where the edge of the counter is, of the cabinet is, but you can't see the hard line. Reason being is because if you were actually in the real world, when you have a large, bright light source here, such as it's a bright day outside, when the door opens up, the light shines in, it's not going to give you crisp hold lines. It's going to break it up. So that's what I'm going for. So that way you have that, instead of putting in hard holding lines, try to avoid the holding lines. You can take a look here. You can see how I did not put any holding lines here. But because I went really dark here and I'm lighter here, and I'm intentionally trying not to put the dots all the way to the edge, okay, that creates a line as if there was a holding line. But as we all know, in real life there are no holding lines. So this video is a bit longer than usual, but I want to take the opportunity to kind of explain the process, and hopefully be able to post this video without any be able to post this with sound. So I hope you enjoyed.